Hi, this is Jack Nicklaus. Thanks for calling Edwin Watts Golf, America's most trusted golf retailer, a friend of Nicklaus Equipment and a friend of the game of golf.
Welcome to GolfBetter at Edwin Watts Golf, episode number 71. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Brassell, and thanks so much for joining us. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber to the show, we're glad you're with us. And sitting in with me is technical specialist Kenny Nicholson. And Kenny, as you heard on the lead-in, we have a treat today, the greatest of all time.
Yeah, we do. It's a special treat for us as well as the listeners, I hope. And joining us today is none other than, in my mind, the greatest golfer of all time, Mr. Jack Nicklaus. Mr. Nicklaus, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is unbelievable. We do appreciate it very much. Hey, real quick, back in 1959, you were named to the Walker Cup team, and you were invited to play in your first Masters as an amateur. Can you share with us a little bit about the memories back then when you were an amateur playing it the first time at Augusta?
Well, I was actually a 19-year-old kid, and I remember the first time driving down Magnolia Lane. It just sort of gave me goosebumps, and I sort of really enjoyed that. And as a matter of fact, I go back, over 50 years later, and I still get the same goosebumps driving down. It's a magnificent experience. We stayed in the Crow's Nest during the tournament. All the amateurs stayed up there. We had a great time, and in those days, they sort of a cute story with they sort of reprimanded us for the amount of food that we ate. They charged us $1 for breakfast, $1 for lunch, and $2 for dinner. And Phil Rogers was staying up there with me, and the two of us kept having 2 steaks every night. And they finally came back and said, we may have to charge you guys for 2 steaks. They're worried whether $4 is going to be too much. Anyway, we absorbed a lot of food in those days, as most youngsters do. But we had some great experience those years. The first year I played, and I remember I was really disappointed with the tournament because I hit 31 greens in regulation for the first 36 holes, and I 3-putted 8 times, and I was out of the tournament, and I happened to notice that Arnold had only hit 19 greens, and he was leading the tournament. That sort of told me that I better learn how to putt those greens, because that's obviously the key to that golf course. And but you learn a lesson with every mistake.
Well, Jack, it was just a couple years later you win, and then a couple years after that you win back-to-back. Fast forward a little bit to 1972, but people started talking about you having a shot at winning all 4 majors in 1 year. You won back-to-back, the Masters and the U.S. Open. Talk about that year.
In 72, I'd won the Masters and then won the Open at Pebble Beach. And I went to the British Open that year feeling pretty confident, and I hurt my neck on Sunday night, or Sunday of the tournament. And before the tournament, and I was sort of not very good the first few rounds, and my neck sort of cleared up the last round, and then all of a sudden I shot 30 the first 9 of the last round and moved into the lead of the tournament after 11 holes, and I guess I couldn't handle the heat, but because I didn't win. But I got around to 16, and I stood on the tee, and I just sort of sat there, and I said, when I was standing here in 1966, I said to myself, if I can finish par, birdie, par, which is a par 3, par 5, par 4, I'm going to win this golf tournament. I finished par, birdie, par. Well, I said the same thing standing on the tee, and unfortunately, the wind was the opposite direction, and I finished bogey, par, par, which was 2 shots higher than I needed to finish. And everybody talks about the great chip-in that Trevino made. Well, he did make a great chip-in. He made a great chip from over the green to win the tournament by 1 over Tony Jacklin and me. But had I finished the way I said I should have finished, I would have won too. And then, of course, that would have set up a pretty phenomenal week at Oakland Hills the next tournament.
We're talking with the great Mr. Jack Nicklaus, a great thrill for all of us. And, Jack, here we are 35 years removed from that epic showdown in 75. Fellow Ohio State alum Tom Weiskopf, up-and-comer Johnny Miller. Can you walk us through a little bit of that final round? Because the emotions that went in that round was incredible.
Well, there's a lot of tournaments that I've played in that I say were just absolute pure fun. Some I've won, some I've lost. I mean, that one was one. When Watson and I played 77 at Turnberry, that was pure fun, even though I lost. But that one there was pure fun because nobody gave it away. Tom played well, Miller played well, and I played well. Coming down the stretch, the whole thing really sort of boiled down to really, I guess, 16 and 7 or 15 and 16, and I guess 15 I birdied 15 and moved into a tie. I'm not sure who I was in tie with at that point in time, probably both of them. And they were standing on the 15th green when I holed a long, about 40-footer at 16 up onto the ridge. And, that was when, I guess, Miller had said, or Weisskopf, one of the two of them said, well, all I could see was bear tracks running around the green. And, that sort of moved me one shot ahead. Both of them came to the 18th hole with chances to tie the tournament, and Johnny had about a 20-footer and Weisskopf had about a 10-footer, and they both hit good putts but didn't go in. And it was a tournament we all played well.
And just hearing the history of those just brings goosebumps to me. But probably one of the most talked about tournaments obviously goes back to the 1986 win at the Masters at age 46, which was your record 6th Masters championship. You had Jackie on the bag and a new putter in your bag as well. What were your thoughts going into that tournament, at 46 years old and a young and upcoming crew coming to the Masters?
Well, after 1980, I really never really, I don't know why I was even playing golf, to be very honest. I was sort of putting in my time. And, just because I didn't have a whole lot else to do, I still enjoyed playing, but I was only playing 11 or 12 tournaments a year. And that spring, I got this new putter that we had at the equipment company, and it was this big, long, huge thing. And I remember the first tournament I used it, the wind blew it into a ball and cost me a stroke. And that was down at Eagle Trace down here in Fort Lauderdale. But by the time the Masters rolled around, I was actually putting pretty well, and I'd been struggling with my ball striking. And I got to the Masters, and the week before I seemed to get my ball striking down pretty good. Got into the tournament, then I couldn't putt, which is normally the case. And I shot 74 the first round, and I still hit the ball well the second round, shot 71. And then I started making a couple putts on the third round, shot 69. Going to the last round, I got a call from my son Steve before the round, going to the golf course. He says, "What do you think, Pops?" And I said, "Well, I think 66 will probably tie, 65 will win." He says, "Exact number I have in mind. Go shoot it." And so I went out and I got through 8 holes, and I was even par. I really wasn't getting anything done. I'd made one birdie and bogeyed a hole in there, and I got around to the 9th green. I was on the 9th green, and I was on the fringe I was only about 15 feet from the hole, and I was getting over the ball, and all of a sudden a big roar went up from 8, and it was Ballesteros making an eagle, hold his third shot. I got back over the ball, another big roar went up, and Tom Kite followed him in the hole with an eagle, holding his wedge shot. And all of a sudden I turned around and sort of relaxed me, and I said, "Okay, guys, let's see if we can make a yell like that here at 9. I hold the putt, and there was a huge yell at 9, then I birdied 10 and 11, and I made a bogey at 12. I just made bogey, but it may have gotten me back focused again, so I birdied 13, par 14, then I stood in the middle of the 15th fairway, and I was about, I don't know, I think it was 214 yards, something like that. And I said to my son Jack, I said, "How far do you think a 3 will go here?" And I don't mean club. And he said, "I think it'll go a long way, Dad." So I hit a 4-iron and knocked it in about, 12 feet, I guess. I made the putt, and that put me into a pretty good position. Then, of course, I almost made hole in one at the next hole and made birdie. And I walked over to 17 tee, and all of a sudden there was that horrible sound of where you know something happened that was bad, but yet you heard somebody cheered and was happy about it. And I knew that Ballesteros had knocked his second shot in the water at 15, the only possible sound it could be. Because there was people cheering for me, but people groaning for Seve, which I hate that sound. the cheering for a bad shot. I never have liked that. But I did know what happened, so I knew that it put me in a position that I need to, finish off this round. And I hit my tee shot the left side of the fairway and hit a wedge in about 12 feet. And I looked at Jackie and I said, "What do you think here?" And he says, "Well," he said, "it's going to go a little bit right." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But do you think it'll come back to Rays Creek?" And he said, "I hope so." I said, "Well, I do too." So I hit it, and the ball came back to Rays Creek and went in, and I made the birdie, put me in the lead for the first time, and then I parred the last hole, and all the rest of it's sort of history. I mean, I know what Kite had a good shot at it, Norman had a good shot at it, but neither one of them got it done. It was a great week. Having Jackie on the bag was fantastic. The putter was successful. We couldn't give that putter away prior to the Masters, and I don't know what we sold, but it was like 300,000 of them right after the Masters. Couldn't make enough of them.
Back to 12. You said that's the one that got you going. You hit a good putt, but there was a spike mark, right?
Yeah, I had a spike mark in the way, and I missed about a 5 or 6 foot putt. But it's those things happen. You're going to have spike marks. But it's I look back and watch the film, watching me whack that mark down after the ball went by it, because it was. I obviously got irritated by doing it, because here I am putting myself in a position and then trying to give it back away. But sometimes when you do something that kicks you right in the rear end, and you got to get going again.
Jack, final question. Not many people are aware of this, but you and your firm were involved in some slight changes, some design changes at Augusta back in 25 years ago, and certainly prior to your final win. It's gone numerous changes since then, and especially over the last 10, 12 years or so. Looking back on those changes, do you agree with a lot that what happened?
Well, the changes that we were involved in were modest changes. Actually, I put the bunkers there on the left of three. It was wide open. And we lowered the pitch of the green at 9 and 18, kept the contours the same, but lowered the pitch there. We did the same at 14, redid the 13th green, tried to restore it. But all our changes were totally in the keeping of what was at Augusta and not changing the theme of Augusta. And the first thing that Augusta did was, put in rough. And then they start putting in trees and narrowing the fairways. And the whole Bobby Jones' whole philosophy of golf was he loves St. Andrews, which was give yourself a generous tee shot, put it in the right position, you get the right angle to the hole, and then you can attack the golf course. If you can't, you have to play it defensively. And the whole philosophy of the golf course has changed. Now you got to drive it longer, you have to drive it straighter. The green areas are still the same basic thing. They've made a couple of modest changes, but nothing significant. And, did I like it? No, not probably. I probably didn't like it. But did they probably do the right thing to defend the golf course against modern equipment? Absolutely. I think Augusta's done a great job of doing that. I think it's exactly what probably the course needed to be able to maintain a similar defense for the golf course that it had back when I played. The scores are relatively the same. The guys are playing relatively the same clubs, even though the golf ball goes so much further. So, it's just that I think everybody likes the game when it's played in their era, and they think the next era has a different game. Well, the next era does have a different game. But is it still a good game? Is Augusta still a great golf course? Absolutely.
Wonderful memories for us. I think what's amazing, in '86 when you won, I was a senior in high school, but the shots that you can go back, you know exactly where you were on the green, how far the putts were and stuff, but, I can go back and when you're talking about these shots, and I remember them visually, watching them on TV, just pulling for you, so that's amazing. And we wanted to, say, hey, thank you very much for joining us today, and it's a huge privilege and an honor to have you on with us today, and we just thank you for what you do for golf and what you do for your business and every golf course design, everything out there, Jack.
Well, I appreciate it, and I enjoyed the conversation today, guys, and you brought up some pretty good subjects, ones I like to talk about.
Thanks so much, Mr. Nicklaus, and have a great time at Augusta this year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wow, doesn't get much better than that. What a treat that was.
Yeah, what a privilege to be able to talk to Mr. Nicklaus, and I got the goosebumps are starting to go away now that we're off the phone. But man, that was incredible.
Well, the memories that everybody remembers certain things in time, and I think every golfer remembers. You said it. You were in high school where you were when he won in '86.
Through the years, you hit certain shots or play certain real good rounds that you can go back and you can remember certain shots within that round. But the thing that's amazing about Jack is when he's talking about, being on 16 in '86. I mean, he remembers every single shot of those majors going way back, and it's incredible. What he was able to do through all of the years and the memory that he has of everything. And we all hold a lot of those memories in our heart and stuff.
Yeah, thanks so much to Mr. Nicklaus himself. Also, Tony Pando and Scott Tolley at Nicklaus Golf for setting up that amazing 10 or 15 minutes we had with him. And one of the things, again, to thank Tony Pando for is offering up a set of new 2010 Nicklaus Polarity HP irons, a whole set of irons to give away to a listener.
Yeah, that's incredible to get a whole new set of irons. And Tony, thank you very much. We appreciate everything you did to get this thing going, and what a special gift to offer a set to give away.
Yeah, and if you're not sure how to register to win, it's pretty easy. Go to our homepage. First step is go to the middle and click on GolfBetter Podcast.
Yeah, click on the podcast button at the bottom of our homepage. It's GolfBetter Podcast. And from there, you'll go to our landing page, and there'll be a Register to Win button. Simply click on that button, fill in the required information that we require of you, and you will be submitted to win one of these awesome sets of Nicklaus Polarity irons. And also on that page is the Ask Kenny button. When you click on that, it'll shoot an email directly to me. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, send me a question. I answer each and every one of those personally. And every now and then we'll do an episode called Ask Kenny, and we might use one of your questions on the show, and you'll get one of our new GolfBetter Podcast hats as well, right, Tom?
That is right. A couple of colorful spots on that page. You can be a fan on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe on iTunes where you can get the show automatically right into your iPod.
Yeah, I mean, if you subscribe, it's free. It goes into your iPod every time we do a new episode, and that's great advice on the Facebook and Twitter, something. If you want to get early release information on sales, promotions, things we have going on at retail, please become a fan on Facebook. We try to keep everybody up to speed on everything that's going on, and also follow us on Twitter as well.
Well, once again, Kenny, that was awesome. That's something I'll always remember, getting to talk to Jack Nicklaus, the greatest. It was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll remember us, but we'll definitely remember him. So it was incredible.
Well, thanks so much for sitting in again, and to all the listeners, thank you so much for joining us. And keep listening in. Come back in a couple weeks when we have another exciting episode of Golf Better at EdwinWattsGolf.com. So long, everyone.